A ring is the most coveted object in the basketball world. This little piece of hardware is so significant, so important, that players like LeBron James would leave their hometown just to get a sniff of the ring. And Kevin Durant would backstab his close friends and join his rival just to win one. Unlike other sports, the NBA championship can be determined by one or two players, making the impact of when a player changes that much more significant. In the NFL, a ring is just as coveted, but one player can't just win it on his own. In baseball, you could be an all-time great like Mike Trout and even have a player like Shohei Ohtani on your team, and you could still be a bottom of the barrel team no matter how great of a player you are. But in both of those two sports, a ring has far less impact on a player's legacy, unlike the NBA, making the NBA ring the most viable ring in all of American professional sports. Now, full disclaimer before we get into this video, when I speak about ring culture, I'm talking about the greats. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kobe Bryant, guys like that. I'm not talking about the Robert Horrys. Even though it is memorable that he has 8 championships, he does not impact ring culture. So going further, when I speak about players, I am talking about legendary players and their legacies. We can't get into this video without answering one question. What is ring culture? Ring culture is a concept that nothing else matters except for winning a championship. And if you never win one, are you truly a great player? This has caused players to focus more on obtaining rings than playing great basketball. You could break decades-old records, you could go undefeated in the regular season, you could win every accolade known to man, shit, you could even help the NBA save themselves from bankruptcy, but an NBA ring will be the biggest accomplishment of your whole career. For players, a ring is like a ticket into the elite club. Once you have one, you join the likes of Kobe, Shaq, Jordan, and more. A ring is like getting on the VIP list on the hottest nightclub in town. It's a sense of validation amongst your peers that my career was actually great. Celtic great Paul Pierce once said after winning his championship, it cemented his legacy. He was already a great player, but a ring took it to the next level. And that's kind of the consensus of most great players. I don't want to be the player that never wins a ring. AKA, I never want to be Charles Barkley.
Chuck don't know what he's talking about. That's why he ain't got none of them things. I got 4 and Kenny got 2. That's all right though. My legacy was already set. 4 rings. How many rings you got? How many rings you gonna be remembered for? Yeah, but when I got home, I looked at my cabinet and I saw 4 things that you will never see.
What's that?
R-I-N-G-S.
R-I-N-G-S.
Yeah.
You said R-I-N-G-S?
Hey, listen, Ed McMahon, why you have to, every time Johnny says a joke, you got to jump?
No, because I looked at my cabinet and saw something you ain't see either.
Exactly.
2 R-I-N-G-S.
Barkley has become the poster boy for a great player who has never won a ring. He won damn near every accolade known to man except for a ring. This has tainted his legacy forever because of his failure to win. Players fear having that asterisk on their legacy and will get a ring at all costs. For fans, a ring is the ultimate tool for bragging rights among your friends. If your favorite player or team wins a ring, it's the world to you. Since you can't win a personal accolade yourself, a ring is the only thing that matters. At times it seems fans care just as much or even more than the literal organizations that can earn them. Some fans have lived through decades, and I mean decades of mediocrity, and had to suffer through teams consistently letting them down. So getting that taste of a ring means the world to them. Cities like Cleveland, Utah, and Sacramento have become infamous for the inability to win, creating this culture where a ring is the only thing that matters to fans and players. When we talk about the history of ring culture, there's one video we can point to. In 2010, LeBron James sat in front of 13 million NBA fans and told the whole world where he was going to be playing the next season. In a moment forever known as the decision, LeBron James created ring culture. Since Cleveland lacked the ability to give LeBron the necessary pieces to win, LeBron left for a better chance at winning a ring. Players like Charles Barkley and Karl Malone laid the foundation for this culture to exist. No, it is not their fault that this happened. Due to their inability to win, they have become punching bags for sports media. On a daily basis, you can tune into any sports media, especially NBA on TNT, and see one of them getting mocked about their career because they were not able to win. Their mockery has left an impact on players like LeBron, which led him to the decision. We all remember LeBron's infamous not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7 rant that he did when he joined the Miami Heat alongside Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
This moment emphasized that the sole purpose for the NBA elite players was to win a championship. The aftermath of this move and the following rant created a wave of change that would engulf the league for the foreseeable future. It has become more commonplace to see stars leave the team they were drafted for a better chance of winning. Since 2010, 16 NBA superstars have forced a trade to a new team. 16 NBA superstars. And two of them who have done it twice in James Harden and Paul George. With the decision, LeBron helped form a new culture in the NBA that NBA superstars have adopted. He helped create a league where stars were no longer afraid to pair up for a better chance of winning a ring. But the decision didn't just make super teams more common, it also brought in a new contract structure. LeBron James signed the infamous 3+1 deal, which gave him a player option at the end of his last year to either sign with the team or become an unrestricted free agent. This at the time was unheard of, but now is the norm for NBA superstars. This has gave stars more control over their futures than ever before. When Kevin Durant signed with the Golden State Warriors back in 2016, he signed a 2+1 deal. When Kawhi Leonard signed with the Los Angeles Clippers in 2019, he signed a 3+1 deal. These contracts have put pressure on organizations to form a winning team around these stars or run the case of losing them for nothing. And even if this organization does give the superstar the team to win, sometimes it's not enough, as players will still leave seeking more validation. For the next part of this video, I want to introduce you to a guy named Kevin. Now, Kevin is one of the greatest scorers ever, one of the most talented players you'll ever see, and arguably one of the greatest players you've ever seen play the game of basketball. But in 2016, Kevin was missing something: an NBA championship. After blowing a 3-1 lead in 2015 to the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, Kevin Durant decided to join them to have a better chance of winning. After joining, he would win 3 consecutive Western Conference Finals, 2 consecutive NBA championships, and earning Finals MVP for both of them, which in definition of ring culture would make him an all-time great. But there's a caveat to ring culture. Just because you have a ring, that does not make it a valid ring. So back to our friend Kevin. Despite having 2 rings, he was not put on the VIP list because people deemed his 2 rings to be invalid because he joined the Golden State Warriors. Most of the NBA world saw these 2 rings as unfair and uncompetitive because of the loaded deck that Kevin Durant had with him. On this Golden State Warriors team, he played alongside 4 future Hall of Famers in Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Andre Iguodala. Though he did accomplish his initial goal, this move would backfire on Kevin and he was still seeking more validation. But it's not just Kevin. There are multiple rings that the basketball world just deems as invalid rings. The 2019 Raptors ring against the Golden State Warriors, where the Warriors were without Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant. The 2015 Golden State Warriors ring, where Steph Curry beat LeBron James without Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving. In the 2020 bubble ring, which in my book is a completely valid ring, that LeBron James won with no real fans in the audience. This notion that not every ring is created equal has created an inconsistency in ring culture. Ring culture was not created by players or fans, it was created by the media. The media's consistent comparison between 2 players has made it the only way to say one player is better than the other is to look at how many championships they have. It has created a completely toxic environment where the only thing anyone ever cares about is how many rings you have. And just winning a ring isn't enough. You have to win a legit ring. The problem is, what categorizes a ring as legitimate and whose categorizations are better than the others? Everyone views a legit ring differently. Some people believe that you must stay on the same team your whole career. Others believe that you have to beat a team that is fully healthy. And others think that you must overcome some type of adversity to get this ring. And there's many more, and the list goes on, creating this inconsistency of what opinion matters the most. There's only a few rings in NBA history that most of the NBA world agrees are legit. The 2020 Golden State Warriors ring, the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers ring, and the 2010 Los Angeles Lakers ring, with a couple other ones. And if you're a player on a bad team, for example Damian Lillard, the media wants you to leave your team to go win. But watch where you go, because if you go to a team that is too stacked or join a player that is too good, you are now ring chasing, thus making every ring you win at that new team invalid, leaving players like Lillard confused and stuck. Do I leave and go for a ring to become a great, or do I stay here and go through the grind and win and be loyal? We've often seen Lillard speak about this situation, quoting that players who leave their teams are quote unquote running from the grind. The same grind that has left him with 0 rings, which in some people's eyes are same amount of rings as Kevin Durant, who has sprinted from the grind. So who's really right here?
It's a pitfall for a player. You convince the player that he shouldn't team up, right? Do it on your own, win on your own. Then they tell you all these names, and then they're like, they did it on their own. No, Jordan had, Hall of Famers with him. Yeah, he didn't leave, they came to him. Magic, they came to him. Bird, they came to them. Yeah, nobody's going to Cleveland.
Now, you can win a title by staying on the same team you're drafted to. For example, Giannis, Antetokounmpo, or Steph Curry. The problem is that fans are still stuck up on the 90s with Jordan and Magic, and they fail to recognize that these two players had teams built around them. The Bulls helped Jordan out by drafting Pippen. Magic was drafted to a team with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar already on it. Kobe demanded a trade off the Lakers, and after not getting traded, was able to get Pau Gasol in a trade package. And Steph Curry, well, Kevin Durant joined him. Not every NBA player has this luxury. No one was going to join LeBron in Cleveland. No matter how great of a player he was, players just don't simply want to live in the city of Cleveland. And that is the harsh reality for some players. For example, Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard has never seen a big-time free agent join his team because simply no one wants to go play for Portland, leaving him and players like him to hope for the draft, where his team would have to be bad enough to even get a good pick, or trades to hope that some type of asset that they have would be able to be a good trade package to get a star. Regardless of all of that, the NBA media does not care. You have to win to be an NBA great, and you have to win on their terms, which we know by now is ever changing. So at the end of the day, ring culture isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And to the people that hate ring culture, I want you to look at yourself and tell me, how do you evaluate a player with rings and how do you evaluate a player without rings? Until we can no longer determine a player's legacy based on how many rings he has, ring culture will always be here to stay.